Hello again, YouTube. So welcome to another Leveling Up Tarot video. This one is going to be on a card that I have seen so many people call their descriptor, their ideal card to be like the best tarot card. I see this tarot card considered like amazing so often that I really wanted to do a video on it because I've been thinking a lot about it lately actually, and that is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is often so loved, so beloved, because after all, it is a great card. It represents being kind of in control of and accepting your emotions, being able to be patient, nurturing, wise, and maybe be a great advice giver. But it is also a card with a little bit of a dark side. Just like many tarot cards, there are multiple ways to read them. And in this particular video, we're going to be talking about the nuances that you can apply to the Queen of Cups. So how to take your identification of the Queen of Cups to another level and to consider the ins and outs. So let's start by talking about what the Queen of Cups actually shows. On a traditional Rider-Waite, what we have is a queen sat in a throne, often in some sort of cliffy landscape with a river. The cup itself is like this really royal goblet. It's like a champion's trophy almost, and it's closed. So it's a kind of golden closed cup. This represents the fact that the queen has everything they want. They have already achieved many of the things that they want in life, or they have accepted what they have in that cup, and so it's closed. It does not need any more in it. It does not need to be fulfilled in any way. Now, the thing about that is when we see a closed cup, whilst it means that this thing has been fulfilled, there's no need to fill it at all, it's also stopping new things coming in. So just this image alone is showing that the queen has become happy of where she is, but that also means there's no more growth. So the thing about the Queen of Cups is that aspiring to be in that place is great, but once we're in that place, we cannot close that cup. We must not shut off to any possible growth from this point, to developing or learning, and just becoming complacent with what we already have. So the thing about the Queen of Cups is it can quickly turn sour because this becomes sort of an immovable place of the emotions. This person isn't open to falling from their throne. This person isn't open to going further with their emotions or trying a new path. So for instance, seeing what desire has for them with the wand suit. But equally, we then have another aspect of the card to think about, and that is the fact that the queen cannot take her eyes off of that cup. The queen is so obsessed with making sure that she still has everything that she wants that she can't even look at the rest of the world around her. So that's the thing about the Queen of Cups. It might be a brilliant place to be, but it's not brilliant when you can't see past it. It's like winning a race and still only being able to check that you definitely won, right? Like, I definitely won, right? It's not going to be very fruitful for you because you can't bask in the glory, in all the celebration that people are trying to have with you. You can't bask in your prize or how fun the race was when you're just constantly asking, I did win, this is mine, isn't it? That's what the Queen of Cups is actually showing us. It's somebody who has achieved but still doesn't believe they've fully achieved yet. This is the difference actually between the Queen and the King of Cups. The King of Cups does not look at the cup in the card. The point is that they are secure. They don't need to check that they're secure to know it because they already do. And that's the final lesson that the Queen hasn't yet learnt. The Queen is in this place where everyone can see that they have it all. You know, they are happy, they're content, maybe they've won a few things or they have a couple talents and prizes through life. But it's just something that this particular person is not seeing. And so when we have the Queen of Cups in a reading, or we're considering it as a signifier, what it might actually be telling you is that you need to wake up to the beauty of your life and things that you have. Of course, that isn't to say that you're not suffering in some way. I mean, we could easily argue that the Queen of Cups is suffering from anxiety and paranoia, and that is a terrible thing to go through. And so when we have this card, what we need to consider is that maybe we're focusing on the wrong thing. You know, that closed cup, we can't even see inside it. It's kind of this situation where the queen has closed the cup, so she can't check to make sure that those prizes and those good things are still in it. And yet at the same time, they won't take their eyes off it because they're concerned that the cup will leave them, almost like a treasure that someone else wants to steal. The way that we need to consider this in a tarot reading to really up what the Queen of Cups is saying is to mediate and remediate what the Queen of Cups is focusing on and what she considers, or they consider, or you consider to be worthy, to be what you have achieved. Perhaps what the Queen needs to consider is that they're a queen, that they're sat on a throne, they have the goblet, it's clearly there if they want it, but they're also in this beautiful landscape, generally speaking. There is more to life and to this person's great accomplishments than this one trophy. So going back to that idea of a race and maybe feeling like you haven't won it, what is there to prove that you've won it or to prove that you've done it that is not just the medal? There's so much more to it than that. I'm willing to bet that any situation in your life which is defined by the Queen of Cups, there are things you're missing about it. So let's take probably a common example. Maybe you define yourself as the Queen of Cups and you are in your last year of university, or you've just come out of university and started a new job. This is probably something that a lot of you can relate to. How are you the Queen of Cups? How are you seeing yourself as the Queen of Cups? I'm willing to bet that you see yourself as being healed, being nurturing, kind, intuitive, perceptive, and all these other beautiful, amazing things. But what are you not seeing? What are you constantly looking at that is blocking your outer perspective? So this idea of putting too much attention on one thing, on one form of fulfillment, and missing all of the background organic forms of fulfillment. This is what the Queen of Cups is saying. So in the example I gave, maybe you are so worried about achieving the next step in your career, about achieving a certain amount of money, or finding a partner, or finding a new hobby, or trying out something new, or how many followers you have. Really, any of these things are going to be taking your attention away from your great friends. The fact you have a degree, you went to uni, you got that. You've got this amazing new job. Maybe you got a house or flat. Maybe you're living on your own for once. Maybe your parents or your friends are really proud of you. Maybe you have learnt something new. There are endless ways in which the Queen of Cups is about more than the literal prize at the end of that journey. And that is the big hurdle for this card. And that is also why, generally speaking, the Queen of Cups may not be a good thing in your reading. It, yes, is a triumph and an accomplishment and a milestone for you. So it has its compliments to it. I mean, that's what we usually tend to read in this card and what we're not focusing on because it's so common. However, it's also a challenge to you. What are you ignoring? What are you spending too much time on? It's these questions which will bring you to the King of Cups. And yeah, I get that most people tend to relate to the Queen of Cups because they enjoy the divine feminine energy of it, but who said that the king couldn't be a signifier for somebody who's feminine? Only gendered tarot, but that's not really my thing, so, you know. However, let's kind of wrap up. So the Queen of Cups, in no way is this card negative or the worst card ever. And I don't want it to seem like it is. But the point of Leveling Up Tarot is to consider the cards in a deeper way that most people aren't immediately reading about. So if you feel a bit dragged, sorry. But the Queen of Cups is actually a really good example of a card that people absolutely adore and take on face value and relate to, that you can consider in a deeper way to actually benefit yourself. You could use tarot for learning and healing in that way. So that is really all I had to say about this particular card. It's quite simple in that way. I mean, it's nothing new. It is literally the kind of detriment, negative, reversed meaning of the Queen of Cups and what the symbolism says. But it's something that I often see people forgetting in this modern age of tarot reading, whatever you want to call it. So that is all I had to say on that one. If you did like this video, please do subscribe, like if you want to, you know, all those things that YouTubers usually say. And maybe check out my Patreon. I create content twice a week. It is on a range of subjects. I do stuff on tarot, I do stuff on healing, astrology, I do 2 monthly readings. It's It's proper fun. I think you would like it. So yeah, that link will be in the description. But for now, I will leave you with that. So bye, YouTube.